Torbjorn here again, and this time we're going back to the stars, huh? Now, I did try to get into costume for this, and I wanted to go for a yellow outfit from Next Generation, which is my favorite Star Trek, but unfortunately, it looks like garbage on me, because the transparency between the arms exposes mine, and it just looks stupid. So, as a compromise, I decided to put a Klingon emblem over my necklace. Yeah, dude, the Klingons are awesome. I love them. Anyway, let's get right into it. Star Trek Resurgence. Back at it again, huh? Now, when we last left off, we had to avoid a certain situation with something happened on the ship, and we were told to sacrifice the people outside, and we decided not to, and our captain got all pissed off at us for that. So we're going to go ahead and continue. Let's go.
Now, Carter, the emissions that gave you that burn are quite unusual, like everything else that goes with this storm. That's a combination of hyronolin and lectrazine to counter the radiation effects. That should help speed your healing. She's come by a couple of times to see you already.
Hey, how's it going?
Be brief.
It's good to see you awake again. I was starting to get worried. Not that you aren't in good hands with Dr. Duvall. You did take one hell of a shot, though.
So, be honest. How bad do I look?
You look rugged.
Rugged?
Okay, how about heroic? Millie was looking in on you too, by the way. But since it's...
All right, hold on. I need to check something here real quick, so I'll be back. Okay, alright, so we had a bit of a problem here. So, for some reason, I can't use my mouse to select answers. It's tied to the numbers, which the numbers are tied to my emotions. So if you see me switching emotions a lot randomly, that's why. Resume.
I had a chance to think about this while I was away, and I thought it was important that I just come out and tell you, instead of tiptoeing around it, or worse.
It's okay, Miranda. You can
Hopefully
tell me
the
anything.
number of keys
I know that.
on the
Think
numpad are
you're
okay.
wrong. Just spit it out.
I'm trying. Let me talk. What I'm trying to say is, we've been really good friends for a long time.
Yep.
But I got back here and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I want to see if there's more between us than just being friends.
This is all kind of unexpected.
I didn't expect this either. But here we are. And I didn't want to ignore it. I just figured I'd steer right into it. Well, what do you think?
Damn.
A bit about as direct as I can stomach.
Go on, get some, dude.
You can do that too.
I like it too. Miranda. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, get in there and get it.
I was really hoping you'd say that.
Nah,
Sorry to interrupt.
nice.
but, the patient needs to rest if he wants to get back to his old self.
Of course.
By the way, ladies, if you're watching this, which I'm sure none are, the worst possible thing you can ever say to a guy is, "You're like a brother to me." If you ever want to crush his spirit, that's what you do. I half expected that to happen right now. Thankfully, it didn't, but Hey, you know how it goes. Just keep that in mind, ladies. Never say that to a man unless you want him to just completely shut down on you.
I'll see you again soon.
Awesome. Nice. Congratulations, dude. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. Cool.
Approaching the rendezvous point outside Atari space.
Helm, bring us out of warp.
Dropping to impulse.
Yeah, he's a Bajoran. Right on.
Ionic interference surging, Captain.
Oh, shit!
Shield integrity holding. We can take it.
We are at the correct coordinates to meet the shuttle.
I figured the shields would be a little more distant from the hull than that.
Diplomat, if you will.
Aye, Captain. Let's reduce the noise. Filter out environmental signals. I can manually tune what's left for Federation signal types.
Ah, how riveting.
I've located the shuttle.
Opening comms.
On screen.
Oh, damn.
Shuttle to Resolute. Shuttle to Resolute. Debris field. Lost maneuvering. Losing.
I can't get it any clearer.
Oh,
Won't get a
jeez.
transporter lock. It's just not happening.
Power up the tractor beam. We'll pull them directly into the docking bay.
Hop to it.
Diaz, you good to run the tractor emitter?
Yes, sir.
Nope, yep,
You
I'm
sure?
good. Nope, cool.
I'm sure.
Nope, we good, we good.
Come on, Diaz.
Come on, somebody out there needs help.
First thing, lock onto the shuttle and stabilize the rotation.
Do you really want me to be doing this? Alright, now just maneuver them around, right?
We're pulling in debris.
I'm on it.
Right on, right on. I got it, I got it, I got it. Got it. Out of the way. Incoming. We got a big one.
That's gonna take out the shuttle. Diaz, the bridge. There's a large piece of debris headed for the shuttle. The tractor beam can't handle it.
Can our shields take it?
I believe so.
Commander Rydek, plot an intercept course.
On it.
Why not just shoot it? Or better yet, use a transporter. What if I shoot her? Boom! That's awful. I apologize. Anyway, take it down. All right. Yeah, that's a plot. Okay, yep. Let's
Here
do
we
it.
go. Maneuvering thrusters bearing 53 Mark 17, 200 meters on an intercept course.
Maneuvering.
Isn't it a job for the helmsman?
Got it.
Why the hell is the first officer doing all that work?
Someone's working hard on the bridge.
Come on, get her in here. Riveting. All right. Easy peasy, huh? Like carving up a deer in wintertime for harvest, or for eating. God. Sometimes I talk a little too fast.
We've got the shuttlecraft on board.
Good job. We're on our way down to meet them.
Dun, 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 dun. Is that just Terminator?
So to speak.
Wait a minute. Is that Spock?
Ambassador Spock.
Oh, shit. Hello, Ambassador. Damn, it's an honor.
The captain will be right down to meet you, sir.
In that case, I will wait for him here.
All right. It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Apologies for the landing, Ambassador. I was operating the tractor beam, sir. I take responsibility.
Our arrival was the smoothest part of our journey. Your artistry with the tractor beam is commendable.
Wow.
We thought we were prepared for our arrival in Hotari space, but it is evident my craft was not sufficiently robust for such intense ionic activity.
The storm has been pretty intense.
There was an element that was most unusual. Before you came to our aid, our maneuvering thrusters and impulse engines were rendered inoperable. So we attempted a short traversal at warp speed, only to find that we could not achieve warp at all, even though our diagnostics computer showed no faults or anomalies.
Interesting.
What do you make of that? Well, all indications say that warp speed is possible, but in practice, we find it is not.
Well, this storm is one of the strangest phenomena we've ever encountered. It's disrupted other systems. Who knows what it might do to a warp drive?
Yes, it would seem further investigation is called for.
Agreed.
Take readings, run some additional diagnostic checks, and we'll get to the bottom of this.
Quite logical. Petty Officer...
Carter Diaz. Sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, if the problem isn't internal, then it has to be external. And the only problem out there is the storm.
I'm honored to have you aboard. I'd like to get right to it. We're already behind.
Still, it wouldn't be bad to give the ship a full examination just in case. You never know. There's been plenty of times where the computer says there's nothing wrong, but there always is.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff. It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
I didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past. You're right, Ambassador. Not the most diplomatic choice of words.
You are a legend, Ambassador. There's not an officer in Starfleet that doesn't know of your career.
I would never assume that to be the case.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour.
Oh, what do we got? Give us the debrief.
In Hotari. The Lydians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Illydians have shared a mining operation there. The Illydians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Illydians from their system. That is the official story.
Interesting.
As told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
Have the Illydians retaliated against
We gotta hear the other side of the
or
story.
taken any action against them?
Surprisingly, they have not yet responded in kind. they were open to a Federation presence. But it is unlikely the relatively primitive Hotari forces would stand a chance against the Elydian fleet in open war. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
And the dilithium trade hangs in the balance.
Clearly the Hotari have been exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines.
So, okay, I'm going to be pausing a lot so I can get my 2 cents in without having to interrupt everyone. So, essentially, I don't recall their names. The technological superiority was the one supplying the technology to do the mining work, as well as the funding for it, and the Hotari are the ones that are providing the full-on labor. But now the Hotari have kicked them out, even though they are technologically inferior and have a less fighting force. So that in mind, the technological race could just force out the Hotari, but again, they're in their system, so that seems a little rash. So the question is, why? Why have they done this? I mean, think about it. If they're up against a technologically superior foe and they're outgunned, they must have an ace in the hole somewhere, would be my guess. They've got something that gives them an edge, that gives them the confidence to do this. That's what we need to find out why. Who else is in this game? Whoop.
And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
I agree.
If we could convince them, it would restore the peace. But we would need the Hotari to accept a difficult compromise.
Made all the more difficult by the emotions flaring on both sides, no doubt.
Neither the Elydians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention.
Here it comes.
In the past, the Federation has relied on the Elydians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other.
You see, the way I see it is, if they are supplying us with the dilithium, the Hotari are going to look at it as, well, of course, you want to cut your suppliers a better deal. They're your suppliers. So I don't think we're entirely a neutral party in this. So I think they won't look unfavorably at us, but our presence here will make the situation a little more sketchy. I mean, think about it. Of course, a buyer wants their supplier to be in good standing, right? So it's going to come off as if we're biased. Hopefully we can prevent that.
Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position. Given the Federation's involvement in the Elydium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
Bingo.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship, and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Elydian fleet has had problems with it as well.
Fair.
This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past.
If it's keeping the two sides talking instead of shooting at each other, that actually helps us negotiate a peace.
And we'll take advantage of that as long as it works in our favor.
And when it doesn't?
All the more reason to learn as much about it as we can while we are here. We do not want to be caught unprepared, should the energy anomaly continue to fluctuate.
Agreed.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
Dealing with an unknown is the last thing you want to do.
Here. We're going to be leaving for the negotiations shortly. Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Okay.
Ambassador Spock, I'd like to make a formal introduction. My first officer, Commander Jara Rydek.
Commander, as you are aware, there are limits to what Captain Solano and I can do in our official capacity as representatives of the Federation. But someone in an unofficial capacity, your first officer, for example, would not be bound by those restrictions.
Wait, what?
Commander Rydek could ingratiate herself to certain parties behind the scenes, where they may be more candid in revealing information that could lead to a resolution.
She certainly goes her own way. Maybe that helps in this case.
I'm honored
You know
to
it,
be
sir.
included in the negotiation process.
That's awesome.
Not just
I love
included,
diplomacy.
You are instrumental.
Well, I hope Commander Rydek will have more luck finding out what really happened than we will through official diplomatic channels.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
Well, what do we got here? Yo, what's up?
Mr. Diaz, I understand you have already discussed the warp drive failure with Ambassador Spock?
I have.
It is imperative that the Ambassador's shuttle be flight ready. I need you both to ascertain the root cause of the system failures he encountered.
I'm surprised, Commander. I thought you would have wanted to work on Ambassador Spock's shuttle yourself.
I respect the Ambassador and his many accomplishments, but I do not derive any satisfaction from interacting with his shuttle as if it were somehow transubstantiated through its association with him. Especially when I have the entirety of this starship to concern myself with.
The Ambassador asked me to take a look, and I'm ready to crack this thing open.
Good. You could learn from Mr. Diaz's focus.
I'll take notes.
Then I will leave you to it. Make note of any abnormalities in your report. Carry on.
It seems like he's warming up to us.
Yeah.
What?
Even Chovok has to look at that face and know you've earned some real respect. And I have to admit that I owe you one.
Bingo.
You were right to make me go first. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I did pretty great out there. So don't you forget it.
I have a feeling you won't let me forget it.
I'm not gonna have to do a damn thing to remind you.
Come on. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Come on, let's look at it. Yeah, I saved your ass. Nothing to it.
All set. Let's run the diagnostic.
All right, what do we got here? What the hell was that about? There, jeez. You could at least lock onto it.
So, I know about your talk with Miranda.
You do?
Oh, someone's
She sent me
spreading
a Priority
words.
1 dispatch right after your conversation. I'm happy for you. Both of you.
Thanks.
But I'm only going to tell you this once.
Huh?
Don't screw this up. Because I would be very unhappy if you tried this out and then, I don't know, 6 weeks or 6 days later, I have to start splitting holidays between the two of you.
Ah.
All because things went south and you're not on speaking terms. That just isn't gonna work for me.
You really don't believe in me, huh?
It's not you. Or her. Just running the numbers, and things don't work out more often than they do. I like my friends, and I like our group. I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, fair.
Is that thing done?
Yeah, it's wrapping up.
I like her.
Let's see. The
She's
relays
cool.
along the primary EPS are blown. The backup relays are all intact.
An EPS overload from the warp drive could cause that. But how did the shuttle end up dead in the water?
Well, maybe the ship's data recorder can tell us something.
All right, just come on, just hit the button. There we go. Look at that. Come on.
Here.
They were only about 8 minutes from their plotted warp point. No faults, just those warnings. What are they?
Well, let's run the diagnostic here. What's a ER14720?
The warp field became inverted suddenly.
I've seen this happen when the center warp coil cracks.
A cracked warp coil throws a fault code.
Still, we should take a look.
Alright, what do we got? ER15302.
There was a complete warp cascade failure.
Wow. They're lucky the shuttle didn't turn inside out.
Makes me think the computer panicked on the warp field equation.
Interesting. Alright. ER93224.
Subspace variance out of tolerance. What does that mean?
It means the main navigation array lost sight of space somehow.
What?
Will the array going offline cause that?
Yes, but it should have also thrown a
Hey,
fault
big boy.
code.
How you doing?
Any one of these failures should have thrown a fault.
If it was caused by a system failure.
None of this caused the relays to blow. Roll forward to when that happened.
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, let's see what we got here.
So here, they take a moment to get their bearings and they attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
There. That's the relays blowing.
And look, there's another warp system alert.
What? It's the same things.
They're all the same. Subspace variance out of tolerance, or warp inversions. Finally, there's a complete warp cascade failure.
Then it's one of two things. Either a warp coil is cracked, or the navigation array is offline.
That makes sense.
Divide and conquer. You want to check the warp coils or the navigation array? I'll check the other.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the warp coils.
One of these systems is likely broken.
Yeah, if there's a crack in it, we gotta
I'll
find it.
check the nacelles for a cracked coil.
Oh yeah, if there's any physical damage, then the computer's completely worthless. Yeah. Okay. Hold on, tricorder. Okay, let's see what we got here. Where are the... Hey. Wait, look at... Hey. Alright, what do we got here? Out of range. Must be the other side then. Fantastic then. That's what I get for trying to look like a smart ass. I'm smart, I swear. Alright, what do we got here? What the? Oh, here we go. There we go. Let's see. Deep scan, QE, analyze data. Got it. Alright. No deviations detected. No fractures. Fair enough. Where's the other part? What the? Wait a minute. Wait, hold on a second. Wait. I can't close the tricorder. Wait a minute. What was that? Oh, okay. There it is. Routine maintenance repair operations from track. Okay, we got something. Oops.
I checked every coil on the.
Don't know why I was looking for
balances.
biologicals on the warp
If any
coil.
in
That was
either
my
engine were
bad.
cracked, I would have detected it. So it must be the navigation array.
Except it's not. Checked and double-checked.
Yeah?
Well, the readings don't lie.
Here comes the security detail for the way team.
Cool.
Hey.
I'm not here.
Uh-huh. So you told her already, huh?
We're escorting the negotiating team to the surface as soon as they come down from the bridge. I don't want to interrupt some important work. I was just hoping to see you before I go. The captain and the others will be here any minute now. Should be an interesting ride down to the surface.
Come on, I'm never too busy to make time for you.
That's not true.
No. But I am glad you came by.
Now that's more accurate.
I gotta be precise with you, huh?
Hey, Maris. Aren't these those button pushers you're always hanging out with?
And you're the phaser jockeys we always beat in Parisi squares,
Ah.
right?
All aboard for Hotari.
That another one of the captain's railroad things?
Gotta be. I just usually zone out by the time he gets to the whole, steam engines were the warp drives of their day part.
What? They
Catch
were.
y'all later.
Don't be hating. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. What, you don't like trains? I love trains.
I do have to go. Not gonna lie, I'd rather not leave right now. More important things on my mind.
You know what? We ball. Get in there. Oh, yeah. That's a really awkward kiss, but whatever. Could have done a little better on that animation.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was.
Save some of that for when I get back.
Ooh.
You've got a deal.
Now we're talking.
Be seeing you.
Give me a good Klingon woman any day, huh? Yeah, that's what I like.
Etzelarda Diaz. If you could float back down to reality, we still have a ways to go.
Yeah, we're getting nowhere.
All right, where were we?
So, the warp coils in the navigation array are fine, but the nav computer doesn't seem to think so.
I'm out of ideas short of field stripping the shuttle from bow to stern.
You wanna take this out of the shuttle and throw it on the bench?
Oh, real hands-on maintenance. I like it. Okay, the nav computer is patched into the ship.
The ship's computer can double-check our work. If the shuttle's nav computer is putting out false data, we'll know it.
Let's run through the shuttle's logs again.
Running now.
Okay. Alright, let's see what we got.
Same. Warp field inversion and a cascade failure. However, the Resolute computer doesn't show the same subspace variance.
We're in the same conditions that the shuttle was in when it failed. Why wouldn't the ship's computer get a matching result?
What if the subspace variance was a momentary occurrence?
That's a possibility, and it would explain why the simulation under our current sensor readings failed to reproduce the issue.
But a subspace anomaly strong enough to cause a warp field collapse would leave graviton ripples for days.
Let's run with the momentary subspace variance theory for now. Roll forward to the shuttle's attempt to re-engage the warp drive.
Yeah,
We
something
need
about
the
this ain't
conditions
sitting
of
right with
space
me.
around the shuttle at the moment of warp failure.
Resuming simulation.
I got a gut feeling that there's some sabotage going on here somewhere. I don't know how or why.
Error in warp field calculation. Cochrane formula variables are out of range.
That right there. Take the shuttle sensor data from that moment.
Computer, why did the warp field calculation fail?
Warp field pressure returned non-orthogonal. Results are undefined.
That doesn't help.
Wait, what if we use a different ship?
Put the Resolute into the simulation instead of the shuttle.
Yeah, it should warp just fine. Unless... Computer, run the simulation with the Resolute.
Resolute simulated.
Computer, give me manual control on the warp power.
Why? Just watch this thing.
Static field intensity, warp 1.1. 1.2. 1.3. Warp pressure is destabilizing.
Interesting.
Error in warp field calculation. The warp drive has experienced a system-wide cascade failure. Warp field collapsed. Subspace variance is out of tolerance. Cochrane formula results are undefined.
Bingo.
What-o?
The same moment when the shuttle failed to warp, so did the ship. Whatever happened to the shuttle just happened to us. The Resolute will not sustain warp.
We can't leave Hotari space.
What about impulse power? You can't just go away on impulse? What? I mean, it would take a long ass time, but that's only going towards the planet, right? I mean, what if you're going away from the planet, you should be fine. Just use impulse power to get away from the planet, then warp. Or am I crazy? I'm not crazy, am I? I don't know. I'm trying, okay? I love Star Trek. I like this stuff. Alright.
Ambassador Spock, Captain Solano.
Hello.
Welcome to Hotari. We are honored you've come. My name is Tyler Saltaris, Minister of Diplomatic Affairs.
Hi.
The honor is ours.
Torbjorn, good to meet you.
This is Commander Jara Rydick, first officer aboard the USS Resolute. You'll find she has a keen mind and unique insight into the dynamics between the Hotari and the Illidians.
Show respect.
We are honored to be here as representatives of the Federation.
I'm so glad.
These must be the representatives of the mighty Federation.
Okay, here we go.
The reigning authority in the galaxy. Or so we've been led to believe.
That's not
Whether
true.
that's true or not remains to be seen.
Tell that to the Romulans.
Either way, we're grateful you've made the time to come to our little corner of the universe.
And you are?
This is Galvin, and this is Citron, the heroes of the revolt in the mines.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Let's hope this is the last time we ever have to come here.
If you'll excuse me.
Oh yeah, something's going on here.
I think we're about to begin.
This doesn't feel like a mutual agreement.
Did you hear the arrogance from that guy?
Yeah.
I don't know what we're walking into here. But that guy was something.
Something about his tone tells me this won't be easy.
That was my sense as well.
I doubt he speaks for all of Hotari. So I would urge patience until we speak with their queen.
Queen? Ooh. Ooh, you just said the magic word. What are we looking at here? What do we got? Interesting. A little humbler than I'm used to. Hi! They look like they appreciate strength.
Ambassador Spock, welcome to Hotari Prime.
The honor is mine, Your Majesty.
That the Federation would send one of their most respected representatives is not only an honor to the Hotari people and their queen, but a recognition of our stature and...
Alright, this is the kind of stuff I like. These little war room talk kind of things. These little diplomatic situations. I used to be in a guild that had this type of stuff. I was on the High Council and, oh man, did we have a lot of fun political talks. It was great. So I'm a little giddy as a schoolboy right now. Let's get this over with.
Let's get on with it, shall we? With all due respect to the Federation and their ambassador, They have no authority here. We are not members of their alliance. We are not subject to their rule.
We never said we were part of your rule. We were brought on as neutral mediators between the two. So that way, we're non-biased. Not to mention the fact that you're the one supplying us with dilithium crystals. I would think you'd be a little happy to have somebody that would be on your side, even though I would prefer that we be looked at in a neutral way. But hey, what do I know?
Nor yours. We demand the immediate return of all mining operations to Elydian control, as it has been for centuries and will be for centuries more. That has always been our understanding.
That understanding has changed.
Then you invite war.
And if you cannot remain silent, you will be silenced. But his point is well taken. What is the Federation's interest in this matter? Perhaps you would have us trade one oppressor for another?
The Federation remains neutral. Our only interest is the peaceful resolution of this conflict. We are here at your request, Your Majesty.
See?
For now.
Told you.
Saying this wouldn't be easy was an understatement. I thought they wanted us here.
Was there something you wanted to say, Captain?
Nope.
Oh, no. My apologies.
And what about the Kobliad?
She's not part...
She can speak for herself, can't she? Then let her.
See? Knew it. Show strength. Alright, time to work my magic.
Now then, one should know their place. What you might be somewhere else is not what you are here. Which is standing before a queen. And a queen deserves respect. A bow is not too much to ask. Is Hotari Prime part of the Hotari system?
My apologies, Your Majesty. I meant no disrespect.
Oh.
Better.
Damn it.
You are Kobliad. Your people suffered brutal treatment at the hands of the Cardassians. Their injustice towards the Kobliad is as unimaginable.
If it wasn't for the Klingons, the Cardassians would be my second choice.
Not unlike how we have been treated by the Elydians.
As much as they'd have you believe they are the victims here, remember it was the Hotari who attacked us. Hundreds of innocent Elydians were slaughtered without mercy in those mines.
The blood is on their hands, not...
Yeah, based on what? Okay. They didn't just up and attack you, did they? I mean, even if they did, there's a motive. There's always a motive. It's not like they just woke up one day and decided, hey, mass genocide. No, something's going on here. I think both parties are hiding something. Definitely. Something deeper is going on here, and neither of them wants to acknowledge it. But I bet you $1 million shekels that they know the other one has a secret. They both know what it is. They're just not willing to tell us.
Quiet! If after all the Kobliad suffered, you finally had the chance to right that wrong, to get out from under their control.
Oh, I see what she's playing. She's trying to play the sympathy card. What she's doing is she's trying to appeal to the situation and say, hey, you were suffering the same thing. Surely you can see that our situation is similar, ergo, you should side with us. Common tactic.
Would you take it? Or would you negotiate a peace?
There is no remedy for what the Kobliad suffered. And I fear who we might have become in pursuit of it. There is no justice if the oppressed become the oppressor. So I would willingly accept a peaceful resolution if it were offered. That is the real opportunity.
You may be right.
Personally, this is just Torbjorn's opinion, I would seek retribution. If somebody wronged me, your name goes in the book of grudges. And it will be paid off sooner or later. But, I was told by Spock and Captain that we have to go at this with a peaceful solution. So, I'm putting aside my personal beliefs, and I'm going ahead with the mission with decorum. It is what it is.
Unfortunately, that was not the case, was it?
No, it was not.
Peace is often elusive to those who need it most. The Federation is the most powerful, most advanced alliance in the galaxy. It's
debatable.
widely known we have an abundance of dilithium in our mines. And it's in your interest to secure a steady supply.
Your Majesty, if I may.
Ambassador Spock would have us believe you're here as a neutral party in the interest of peace.
Yeah?
So why are you really here? I want the truth, not your Federation rhetoric.
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's really not my place to say what the Federation's interests might be.
You are their representative.
I am. But Ambassador Spock is better suited to address your concerns.
Well, they haven't...
Ooh, bold move. I mean, obviously the dilithium is what they're really after. They want to make it peaceful so that the dilithium keeps flowing. But at the same time, I can't lie to them and say, oh, well, peace is the only reason we're here, when obviously it's not. And I can't say, oh, well, we're after the dilithium, because it makes us look unsympathetic. So I figured it would be better to have a neutral option and say, I'll leave this in the hands of someone who has a better grasp on the situation. I'm trying to tiptoe around the situation. Hopefully it works.
But cannot deny is a simple truth. The dilithium trade would not and will no longer exist without a Lydian involvement. We created it for the benefit of everyone, especially the Hotari. We've given them warp technology. We've let them share in the profits. We've made their lives infinitely better than before dilithium was discovered.
See, that's exactly what every tyrant says. We gave the people blah, blah, blah. We're the ones that blah, blah, blah. If it wasn't for us, blah, blah, blah. That's how it goes. That's how they justify their oppression. Oh, so what if we use them for labor? It's the least they could do for what we've done. No, screw this guy. No, I see right through your plan. What you're doing is you're trying to establish a stronger position by elevating yourself to the point where you completely where you completely deny their own self-independence. The Hotari can obviously function without you. Hell, if nothing else, we could cut out the middleman entirely. The Alliance can directly deal with the Hotari and provide them with the exact same things that you are, buddy. We can give them the technology that they need now. They don't need you. That's the thing. They don't want you. You're trying to reestablish your position on the matter in order to maintain the relationship. In essence, the symbiotic relation has turned parasitic. They want you gone. You don't want to be gone because you don't want your cash cow getting away from you. When in reality, we could easily cut you loose. That's what this whole thing is about. They want to keep their slice of the pie without doing anything to help bake it.
All of that goes away if the Federation turns a blind eye to their treachery.
It doesn't.
That is enough of your lies.
Oh, here we go.
The Hotari are quite capable of running the mines. We've done so for centuries. So tell me, who deserves control of the dilithium trade and the mines on Tau? Who should the Federation recognize? The Hotari or the Elidians?
Sorry, I've already made up my mind.
Only be one or the other, not both.
If I have to choose only one, then it would have to be the Hotari.
Well said. How could the just and wise Federation make any other choice?
This is an outrage. The Federation has lost all credibility.
The mines are ours. Lydia will not be deterred.
See, basically what they're doing is it's a land dispute. They're saying that, oh, we own the mines. You're privileged to work them, blah, blah, blah. We have the... But when it comes down to it, it comes down to who do you want to support? The white collars or the blue collars? Do you want to support the ones that are handling the finances, the ones that are handling the trade deals? Or do you want to support the workers, the ones that are breaking their backs to get it done? Well, the problem is the white collar guys are not physically doing anything to maintain their position. Whereas the Hotari are the ones that are actually going, hey, not only have we worked the mines for dozens of years, for thousands of years, she said millennia, so thousands of years, so why not give them a chance to also handle the finances and the white collar aspects? Why not give them a chance to manage their own lives? That's the way I see it. I'm seeing it as a common person. Like, let's say, for example, a construction worker wants to get a promotion and he wants to go to management. Well, why stop him? No. This sounds to me like it's a bunch of people that want to keep their workers down low so they can maintain their own position. Whereas I am saying I believe they can elevate themselves up to the position they want to be at. And that requires cutting out the middleman who is unnecessary. You did your part. You benefited from the profits of the time, but they want to manage themselves. And the mine is on, what, their moon? The moon is in orbit around their planet. I don't know if there's a deed or some paperwork that says otherwise, but as far as I'm aware, it's their moon, it's their dilithium. All they're doing is they're cutting out the third party and they're going directly to the Federation itself. I don't see a problem with that. What I see is a parasite trying to keep its cash cow. And I'm not having it.
We will take back our mines by any means necessary.
Then you will see more blood spilled.
I am more than willing to address your concerns, Your Majesty. Yours as well, Representative. But I suggest we could have a more productive conversation with a smaller group. Perhaps only the most essential representatives.
I suppose there is some sense to that.
What?
I hope we meet again.
Commander Jara Rydek, Your Majesty.
It's been a pleasure, Commander Rydek.
See, look at that. She even acknowledged my name. That says something. What? Hey, I handled the situation best I could based on the information I was given, okay? I was told to go in, assess the situation, and make a decision.
On the diplomatic front.
What?
You make nice with the locals and see if you can get some answers. We need to find out why the Hotari are so willing to risk war. What happened in those mines?
See, I told you, there's something deeper going on here. I can see it. I told you, there's something going on here. There always is something going on. There's always a third-party situation going on. Time to find out what. Hey, you. How's the view?
Such rough terrain. No wonder the Hotari are so tough.
Hey, big guy. What's going on? Right.
Commander, I'm glad you've chosen to side with the Hotari. I knew the Federation would see through the Elydians' baseless claims and protect the interests of my people.
The Hotari have suffered enough at the hands of the Elydians.
I couldn't agree more.
I assume you were there the day the mines were seized from the Elydians.
Not seized. Reclaimed. And restored to their rightful owners. Yes, I was there.
Right?
We had to be decisive. Before the Elydians could even realize their worst nightmares upon them.
See, you don't, in a situation like this, you don't want to ask direct questions like, oh, were you armed? Were you this? Were you that? It'll give off the feeling that you're probing them, and it'll pick up on it. When you want to get information out of someone, you have to do it subtly. The best way to do that is to ask questions. So, for example, you say something like, well, aren't you afraid of this? Aren't you afraid of that? What about if this kind of repercussion happens? Then they'll start spilling their guts because they want to answer because you show interest in their actual situation. You're not looking at, hey, did you guys have guns? Did you do this? Did you do that? That's inquisitive. That feels like they're being interrogated. You have to show interest in their situation in order for them to open up because you give off a feeling of sympathy. They want people to understand their situation. That's the key. So we're going to go with answer number 3.
I'm curious why the Elydians haven't fought back. They have the ability to retake the mines anytime they want.
Ability is one thing. Courage is another. The Elydians know any hostile action on their part will not end well. They respect one thing above all else, and that is force. The greater the force, the more certain the outcome. Any talk of making peace is just that, and worth little without the strength to secure it. Which makes me wonder about your ship, the Resolute. Undoubtedly the Federation's finest warship. Ready to contend with anything the Elydians might have in store. Or is that not true? Maybe I've misjudged it.
So it sounds to me like he's counterattacking by also probing me for information. I can't let him know that, yes, the Resolute is a warship, technically. Not necessarily. It's a science vessel, but it is heavily armed. But revealing that type of information, it gives off the feeling that, hey, he might plan to take the ship and use it to balance things out. They know they're outgunned. They know they're outmanned. So taking our ship might tip the balance. But at the same time, I don't want to show weakness, but I kind of have to.
It wasn't designed as a warship. More for scientific research and exploration.
But the Federation must have ships designed for war.
Technically, they're Starfleet ships representing the Federation. But yes.
I see.
Sidron.
A pleasure meeting you, Commander. I'm sure we'll cross paths again.
I like him. He's cool. Interesting fountain.
Soothing.
All right.
Commander Rydek? I'm encouraged to see the Federation supporting my people.
Hey, what's up?
I'm afraid of what might happen without your help.
The Illidians have no right to your land. It was clear which side was more deserving of our recognition.
It's so different to have
Bingo.
someone on our side. These are unusual times, to say the least. Much is changing. I saw you speaking with Sidron, our national hero. I'm curious, what did he say?
He seems to be of the opinion that negotiating for peace is a waste of time.
Because force is the only blunt instrument he understands. He's a miner, not a diplomat. For the first time in our history, the Hotari have the upper hand. We see ourselves as strong instead of downtrodden. New voices have risen up. Old voices shouted down. Galvin and Sidron have become national heroes. Now they have the Queen's ear. Better or worse, depending on your perspective.
I get the sense you don't exactly trust them.
See, I told you. Ask questions. Show sympathy. They'll open up.
I don't trust their instincts, which are leading us to war. My fear has been that the Illidians will launch an attack and crush us. You've seen their starship, no doubt. They could have retaken the mines whenever they wanted to, but it never happened. And as strange as this may sound, I'd almost say they're afraid.
In my opinion, they don't want to wipe out their workforce. That's the thing. Not only will they look at the situation from an economical standpoint, they'll look at it from a military one. What will happen is the rest of the galaxy will also see that, and they have to maintain they have to save face. They have to maintain that, hey, we're helping out this poor, underdeveloped people, and we're putting them to work, and we're feeding them, we're giving them technology, we're doing all these cool stuff. Look at how awesome we are. If they attacked with force and took the mines, that makes them look poorly, and any possible future relations will go down the tube. That's how that works. I guarantee it.
I just don't know what they're afraid of. It's still the same bluster and bravado you would expect from them. But it has no teeth. Like they're afraid of what might happen.
Was it for fear of the repercussions, once the Federation became part of the equation?
Possibly. But I almost want to say this was from the very start. Before engaging the Federation was even on the table.
I mean, there is the Ion Storm, but I don't know.
Since the day of the revolt, Galvin has seized control of the mines and restricted all access. No one's allowed without his personal authorization. And they've taken over a section of the palace with just as much secrecy and security. I'm told it could be something they brought back from the mines.
Bingo.
I made inquiries, but everyone pretends it doesn't exist. I strongly suspect they're hiding something.
Are you sure of this?
It's been the talk of the palace since the day of the revolt.
How can we know?
So they brought something back from the mines, and it's got everyone tense.
I'd better see what's happening.
There it is.
Do you think you can find out what they're hiding? I need to see proof of something before I can make my case to the Federation.
Bingo.
I can try, but even if I found it, I might not know what to make of it.
Even so, tell me what it is.
Take this. You can use it to capture whatever you find, and then send it to me.
Thank you.
I'm fighting for you here. Throw me a bone.
I'll let you know what I find. And I look forward to our meeting again.
Right. Time to do some digging.
Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you were speaking with the Hotari this whole time. I figured in the interest of fairness, I should offer another perspective.
Yeah?
Of course.
Hey, they were the closest ones. I was just going down the line and you were next. Don't take this personally.
I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know, but these negotiations rely on the Federation's neutrality. as does any hope you might have for a supply of dilithium in the future.
See?
So, why you would choose to side with the Hotari escapes me. Without Illydian involvement, there is no dilithium trade. But clearly, you weren't aware.
Tau and the mines belong to the Hotari. They deserve to have control.
You overestimate their ability to run the mining operation.
Yeah, but the point is they should be given the opportunity to prove it. If they don't prove it, then we will send people to help them. They don't need you, dude. If they're trading with us, then it would be in our best interest to show them how to maximize their profits. That way, it would benefit both them and us. We could maximize their output. Not to mention, it would help build further relations. Hell, they might even petition to join the Federation at one point. But we'll never know if we don't give them that chance. They deserve the opportunity to try. You can't just say, oh, they're too stupid. Let there be proof of it, not claims. Proof.
They have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
Major Solid Arminta, Special Attaché, Illydian Armed Forces. Pleasure to meet you, Commander. I have my issues with the Hotari, but I have to give them some credit. They know how to seize an opportunity. Inciting an uprising the same day as a massive, once-in-a-lifetime ion storm.
Our assumption was that this storm was just an anomaly.
Yes, a very convenient anomaly. At least that was what we were told. Of course, I wasn't there. But who am I to say otherwise?
Okay, this is the point where asking a question would be probing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you sound skeptical. Because obviously, he's got a theory on the situation, and I want to know what it is. If I just flat out ask him what happened, he's going to say, I don't know. Because he honestly doesn't. It's just the fact that this ion storm popped up right at this moment. He has a theory as to how and why or what's going on. So I want to hear it. Damn it.
You sound skeptical.
Well, the official story is that it was the storm that enabled the revolt. How else do a bunch of unarmed, unorganized miners seize control of an entire moon, much less thousands of mines? But I've talked to people who were there. They tell a different story. They say they're lucky to have escaped with their lives. That it was more than just the storm. That somehow the miners were able to harness the energy from the storm. I know it sounds crazy. I'm not even sure I believe it myself. But that's what they said.
You just answered your own question. How do a group of miners do something that in theory can't be done? That's how. Harnessing the storm.
But even if it's true, how does that even happen?
You tell me.
So that's how they're so confident. They're finding a way to weaponize the ion storm. And if proof of what our simulations say and what happened to Spock's vessel, they could easily launch that thing at the entire fleet and wipe it out. At least their warp drives, and throw them off whack. The question is, why don't they? I mean, if you want independence that hard, just wipe out your competition. I mean, what do they care? If they want, they don't have the same reputation problem that the Lydians do. They can basically throw it off as, well, we were oppressed and just fighting back against our oppressors, and they'll pull the sympathy card. So, something not adding up here.
If you'll excuse me, Commander Ryder.
More and more info's riding up. Is the captain back in the room? He might be. Alright. Okay, so far it sounds like they feel entitled to part of the mine because of their investment. Which is understandable, but hey, the down payment period has passed, bruh.
Well, that was a disaster.
What happened?
The Hotari refused to concede anything, so the Illidians stormed out.
The Hotari did not invite us here as peacekeepers.
What?
I hope your efforts were more fruitful than ours.
Well, then what did they invite us for? Show of force, maybe? Meanwhile...
Gravitational harmonics failing to resolve. Warp bubble stability degrading. Increase output to maximum.
Increasing warp output to maximum.
It's happening again.
There it is.
It is evident that presently the Resolute cannot achieve warp propulsion.
Since our diagnostics rule out any problems with our warp systems or anything about the ship, the problem appears to be the fabric of space itself.
Space itself? You're saying something about this region of space prevents warp travel?
Prevents it, or can't sustain it.
However improbable, that appears to be the case.
Well, couldn't we slowboat it out of here at impulse speed?
It may come to that, but we don't know how far this warp dead zone extends. Captain Solano is on his way back from the negotiations, and I want to have some answers for him when he gets here.
Indeed. Given the facts at hand, we may be able to deploy subspace probes around the ship to construct a clear picture of the phenomenon.
Around the ship. I'll prep a shuttle.
Okay, so we're slapping on a bunch of cameras, huh? Fair. And yeah, he's right. They don't exactly know how far this bubble stretches. So, I mean, it's an option at least, impulse power, but hey, it's...
I'm setting up a waypoint at a distance roughly corresponding to the edge of our warp field. When we get there, I'll deploy the first probe.
Geez, okay. Got it. Gotta go over the ship's wing here.
Commander Westbrook, the Resolute systems are calibrated to receive the probe's readings. We are standing by to reproduce the warp field collapse after the first probe is deployed.
Why the hell is my ship veering off course so bad?
Position shortly. And, Mr. Diaz, do take care in piloting the shuttlecraft. Now is not the time to indulge in the human penchant for joyriding.
Blah, 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 blah.
Jovak probably isn't such a fun guy to work for, huh?
Nah, Lieutenant Commander Chovak.
Hold on, trying to drive here.
You know, once you get used to him. And, I've learned a lot working under him.
See, if I let go of the mouse...
I have a feeling I'm going to have to work harder.
The sucker is just drifting all over the place.
Animal like you.
Your alignment's off.
Coming aboard.
Alright. Heading right on through. Yeah, if I let go of the mouse, it just veers off. I don't know, it's weird.
This is far enough.
Alright, what do we got here?
Transporting the first probe into position.
6 probes. Jeez.
Westbrook here. The first probe is deployed.
Understood. We are reading it. We are about to replay the simulation.
Problem? I just can't get a handle on her. Commander Rydek. She rejected my plan to use a deflector pulse against the storm surge, but On the other, she did listen to my advice and use the whole polarity trick to get you through that excursion alive. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the new XO. I'm sure she's a fine officer, even if we don't see eye to eye. But she didn't go through what the rest of us did. You know that. And it's hard to figure out why she'd be the one Solano chose instead of, well, one of us.
I've heard some good things. You should at least give her a chance.
I'll take that under advisement.
Test is running. Warp field collapse
Yeah.
in 3.
Speak with actions, right?
1. Mark.
Let her actions be the one that defines how you feel. What the hell was that?
Whoa. All right, that is definitely a problem with the fabric of space. We need to get another probe out there.
What the hell? What was that? It looked like you hit a cloaked ship for a second there.
With 2 points of data, the Resolute and the probe, we've managed to get an interference pattern. I'm setting a waypoint to a particularly strong area of interference. We'll deploy the second probe there.
I mean, jeez. If space is warping that
I'm gonna give you
badly...
a piece of advice I wish someone had given me. Make sure you're never just one thing. Don't get so focused on what's in front of your face that you lose sight of the big picture. Before Rydeck showed up, the captain pulled me into his ready room and told me he didn't think I had the people skills to be first officer. What a load of crap. I mean, if he'd said that about Chovak, sure.
Sounds like
That why you're being
politics.
so friendly to me? Politics?
That would be clever, but I think you give me more credit than the captain does. You're all right, Diaz. And you've got potential. You're a capable engineer.
Oh,
You're
thank
good in the
you.
field. Keep up the good work. And who knows? Solid jack of all departments like you could be commander-in-chief of Starfleet one day.
Sweet.
Hell, Admiral Jellicoe started as a shuttle pilot. And there are places to go in the enlisted ranks, too.
I love it. So put me up for promotion. I'm ready for my next challenge.
Well, I think you're going to have to prove that to your boss, Chovak, first. He's the one who has to put you up for consideration. If I were first officer, it would be different.
Well, then I'll just have to change Commander Chovak's mind. I'll work hard and better, and he won't be able to ignore it.
You've got grit. I'll give you that.
Alright, coming in hot. 500 meters. 100 meters.
Here. This is close enough. Stop the engines. Deploying the probe. Westbrook to Commander.
Sorry if I'm a little
Chovak.
quiet, I'm
For
paying
another
attention.
sampling of data.
Very good. Running the simulation again. Warp field collapse in 3, 2, 1. Mark.
What the hell?
There it is again.
I saw it. It seems to be directional.
Well, what about the scans? Anything?
Directional.
Here's the readings in relation to our local space. We've got the Resolute, Otari Prime, and the probes.
All this interference is overloading the sensor buffers. We're gonna have to triangulate the sensors manually.
Oh, great. Fantastic then. Okay. Let's see here.
We got something.
These markers indicate peaks in the gravimetric interference patterns.
Let's see if I can find some more.
If the pattern holds, yeah. Straight line to Tau.
Hold up. This is coming from the moon.
And it's smaller than Tau.
Warp travel.
Aimed right at us.
Someone is doing this intentionally.
Oh,
How they're doing it. This is
oh
like
yeah.
nothing I've ever seen.
We're under attack and we didn't even know it. We need to stop them. Unplug whatever it is they're hitting us with.
There it is.
Now, look here. It's current readings of the ion storm.
Okay, my theory is that they're trying to wipe out the ship so they can take it over and use that against the Eledibidanes. So what they're doing, did you notice how it got smaller as it got to the moon and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger? Yeah, something's firing at us. And it's causing our warp drive to not work. They're trying to keep us here. I guarantee it, they're trying to take our ship. I'm calling it right now.
Concentrations. They line up with the interference pattern. The storm and this beam, they're coming from the same place.
Carter, whatever petty local conflict brought us here, it's just a small part of something much bigger.
Yeah, contact brass, like immediately. Don't even bother flying back, just tell them.
Presently, we don't have an explanation for how they're doing this. One thing is clear. This is no fluke.
Thank you, Mr. Westbrook. I want a full briefing when I'm back on board. Solano out. A targeted weapon that inhibits warp travel. Coming from the moon Tau.
That would explain the difficulties my shuttle encountered. More importantly, the tenor of the Hotari during the negotiations.
And here I thought the Illidians would be the problem. Coming to peace talks in a warship. This wasn't supposed to be so complicated.
I don't know why the Hotari wanted us here, but it wasn't to negotiate.
Clearly, peace is not their intention.
Then what is? Why go through this charade?
Tylus, the Hotari representative, said she thought they found something in the mines. Galvin and Sidron brought it back to the palace, but they're keeping it under tight security. She's going to investigate it. I gave her my tricorder. I expect she'll contact us soon.
You found an ally.
Why would Tylus help us? Go behind her people's back? It's a fair question, considering.
She doesn't like the way Galvin and Sidron have been manipulating the situation. And the Queen. Working with us to go around them isn't the same as betraying her people.
That may be true.
She's certainly more likely to help than the other Hotari we've met.
That raises another question. Specifically, what do the other Hotari have to gain in bringing us here, only to make this hostile maneuver against us?
I'm telling you.
There must be some motivation.
Unless they changed their minds between when they asked and when we got here.
Sidron was very curious when we spoke outside the Queen's chamber. He wanted to know all about us, our ship, the Federation. He wasn't giving any answers. He was looking for them.
Well, I'm
See?
sure you
Told
didn't
you.
tell him too much. I don't think the Illidians know what's really down on that moon either.
Major Armintas said the revolt defied explanation. That the Hotari miners somehow harnessed the energy of the storm.
Harness the energy of the storm?
Doing that is beyond even our capabilities.
So is a weapon that disrupts warp travel.
There have been civilizations and entities, both past and present, far more technologically advanced than the Federation.
The Illidians and Hotari don't fall into that category.
But that is all the more reason to investigate further.
Commander Ryder,
Interesting.
sorry to interrupt. We've received an urgent call from Atari. Queen's advisor, Tylus, has asked to speak with you.
Put her through.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
Galvin and Sidron are still with the Queen. I've enlisted help to gain access to the room they have under guard. I don't have much time.
I'm not supposed to leave my post.
It's only for a moment. I so appreciate your help.
I found something. I'm sending you a scan.
Got it. Tylus, if we needed to gain access to the mines on Tau, is that something you could help us with?
I suppose it wouldn't be easy, but I have to go.
Tylus.
Yeah, something's up.
Sorry, Captain. We've lost all contact.
We don't want to reconnect. She hung up.
We can only hope she escaped without harm.
It was hard to tell.
Tylus wouldn't have offered to help if she didn't know what she was doing.
Bingo.
That's a lot of faith in someone we barely know. Let's see the scan of whatever the hell that was.
Tyler suspects this came from the mines on Tau.
It appears to be of ancient origin, but the markings are unfamiliar.
We can run a full analysis when we get back to the Resolute. But if this came from the mines, then it might be the key to how they got the upper hand against the Illydians.
Then we have to go into the mines.
The Federation would not allow that. We were, after all, sent here to be a neutral party in a peace negotiation. However, we could demonstrate that the Hotari have acted in bad faith, which would enable us to investigate the mines on Tau with full justification. But of course, we would need conclusive proof before taking action. Otherwise, it could put us in a difficult position.
If this warp disruption attack isn't enough justification, I don't know what is. We have every right to defend ourselves.
In due time.
I don't want to escalate this without a better idea of what we're getting into.
We may have a better understanding once we analyze the device. But a mission to the mines, covert or otherwise, is not out of the question.
Ooh, that's a risky proposal, Spock. See, I figured we would go with the whole self-defense preservation. We would tell them, hey, something on your moon is messing with our ship. We want to check it out and see what the hell it is before we proceed with these negotiations. But at the same time, the blah blah blahs, I don't know their name, I apologize. They might look into that also because they're also suffering from the same effects. And that investigation could spark something. So I understand where Spock is coming from. I figured that would be our only leverage. What other leverage do we have to investigate their mine? We need a reason. Either that, or we go in covert, like he's suggesting, which is very risky.
And I will handle the Federation.
Okay.
As I was telling Carter, I want all the data I can get on this warp problem. And the negotiating team's shuttle has been recording data all the way back from Hotari. Even better than our probes. So pull the sensor and engine ISOs from the Melville when it sets down.
Will do.
I'll join you and Chovak down in engineering to run another analysis after the briefing.
Alright, you know what? I think for now is a good spot to end it. So, we're going to go ahead and pick this up another time. I don't want to get too deep into it. This is one of those games where it doesn't really have a stopping point. It just keeps going and going and going, so I have to stop it myself manually. So, we're going to go ahead and pick this up manually. Is it possible to even save this thing? No, I'm guessing it does it automatically. Yeah, it did it automatically before the chapter started. So, we're going to go ahead and end it now, and hopefully get back to it another day, huh? Let's see, there's a Klingon word for goodbye. I forget what it is. Let's Google real quick. See, I've really tried to prepare myself more for these things. Yeah, okay. Dodge melt. Dodge. Oh, God. I'm trying, all right. Dodge limit. Oh, God. I'm not a very good Klingon. So, I'll just stick with my own. See you, folks. tried. I tried to look up a pronunciation, but I can't find it. Either way, the story's getting good. I like all this political stuff. That's why I like the old Star Treks, not the original series where it was all about like time travel or weird creatures or getting into hostile situations and having to... Nah, nothing like that. I like the more political stuff like Next Generation. That's my absolute favorite Star Trek of all time. And this new stuff is just action based. Like, come on, we have Star Wars. We don't need all these phaser blasts and explosions and people running around screaming, all that nonsense. We don't need any of that. We already have that. I mean, hell, we've got like what, Stargate? That also kind of does it too. That's like the one that's always in like third place. But no, we've got Star Wars. We don't need any of that stuff. No, we need something political. We need something that has more intrigue between diplomatic relations between Federation and whatever, I don't know, Romulans, Klingons, between different races and species and nations. No, that's what we need. We need something with a little more subtlety, a little more not action. We've got plenty of action. We don't need any more of that stuff. So, anyway, look forward to the next time we play this game. It's being fun so far. See ya!